You know, it's all about him. It's not about you. Well, folks, I said it then, I say it now. It's time to turn the page.
Kamala Harris, clearly confident there, saying she wants another debate. Trump today is posting online. He doesn't want another debate. Make of that what you will about how they both think they did. And let's be clear, this week, as we approach the end of it tomorrow, caps another milestone for Harris in what is a compressed campaign. Remember, she raised $47 million in the 24 hours after the debate. That's their best haul since she announced her candidacy. And this has become something of a pattern. It is worth recalling that initially, Harris was facing doubters before she entered the race, including a D.C. press corps that had spent a lot of time over 3 years panning her work as VP. She initially quieted them with the strong start to the campaign. Many headlines and observers said not only was it going well in those first few weeks, you might remember, but better than expected. But what does expected mean? That's compared to the same headline writers and other D.C. types. Then she faced an often Republican-led campaign saying she should do more press. She has since done a national TV interview and radio interviews and drawn positive reviews for that. And then there were the questions about how she would handle Trump as a debater. And it's true. Donald Trump has rattled even experienced debaters, including the 2016 Republican field. That's a point that we reported on and heard about earlier this week on this program. Donald Trump may be a crude liar, but that has not always made him easy to handle on that debate stage. Kamala Harris handled him. New polls today show that among Americans who say they are familiar with the debate, remember, 67 million people watched it live, millions more saw some highlights or discussion or read coverage about it. We'll show you the results. Early polls say Harris won the presidential debate. And the numbers today, most say Harris won. Double the share who say Trump won. You can see that. Most thought Trump stumbled and was not sharp. Only 1 out of 5 voters thought that of Harris. That's a strong takeaway. Striking in our polarized electorate, over 40% of Americans back Trump. So even those who back Trump don't say that he won, because it's all the way down to 24%. Simple math. And then some Republicans have certainly heard from the conservative voices piercing Trump's campaign claims about a great debate. There have been tough critiques of his meandering and angry performance that night. And let me break it down briefly. It's not that complicated, but it's politics, right? So not everyone's just being honest all the time. Some of the Republicans saying Trump blew it may just be telling the truth, going about their lives and careers and saying what they see honestly. Others, for example, Trump campaign surrogate RFK Jr., may be hoping that they're going to somehow get through to Trump through the television. We've seen that before. And so they are actually trying to help him by giving him the truth that I just showed you, that he did poorly, and the voters think he did poorly, including Republicans, which is a problem when you're running for office. So they're trying to say he did badly to get him to correct his mistakes before it's too late.
Against Joe Biden, that guy was as sharp as attack and ready with answers, but he wasn't here. What do you think happened?
Absolutely. Well, she was loaded for bear. There's no question about it.
Donald Trump lost. And this is not the worst debate performance I've seen in my career, but it's very close to it.
Vice President Harris clearly won the debate in terms of her delivery, her polish, her organization.
I think that he loses because of this debate performance.
Wow. The last voice there is a right-leaning pollster, Frank Luntz. Now, he's projecting all the way out to the future. I will tell you again, as I've told you, and we'll keep track of this together as we go towards Election Day, we can't say anything responsible about votes that haven't been cast yet. We'll start monitoring early votes and polling on that when it happens, but no one's voted yet, so the debate may or may not resolve it. As for RFK Jr., he just recently endorsed Trump. He is looking for a job in the administration. He has every reason, if you analyze people's behavior by their incentives, he has every reason to want Trump to win. So he might be saying something that sounds positive for Harris and bad for Trump, but it would be a reasonable conclusion that someone involved in the spin room, he was there, and all that, Trump endorser, wants a job, thinks that if they can just get Trump to realize how poorly he did, maybe they can improve him and help him get back on track and still maybe win. As for what debates do, they last beyond the night of the thing, even if so many people watch it live. And the people talking about what happened in the debate often are the people who have something to invoke or they think they won. So I'm going to show you new from Kamala Harris, how she is using Trump's debate answers to make points. And she would argue to educate and edify the voters about where he stands or why he's running and hiding from where he really stands.
Donald Trump intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You heard what he said in the debate. He has no plan to replace it. He said, concepts of a plan. Oh, you all watched the debate. Concepts. No actual plan, concepts. Donald Trump refused to say that he would veto a national abortion ban. You remember that? He refused to answer that question. Refused to answer that question. Well, I'm going to tell you, when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. All who worked with him every day in the White House, sat with him in the Oval Office, have warned America Donald Trump is not fit to be President of the United States and should never again occupy our nation's highest office. Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it?
Harris bridging some of those key moments she wanted to highlight from the debate with what they call a stump speech, some of those lines you may have heard before. A remix powered by what she and her campaign thinks was a great night. After the Charlotte rally, Harris is in Greensboro for another rally later tonight. Trump in Arizona, speaking at a music hall that's got about a 2,000 capacity. Harris, though, is in a Coliseum with a 10,000 capacity. So if she fills it up at all, she will be far more than tripling his crowd. A contrast Democrats have been pushing, including a mobile billboard that's actually going to circle Trump's rally today, all about this. Of course, they also had that ad this week with the same theme, citing Obama's DNC speech.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on.
On and on. Both campaigns also looking at the swing states. Harris will go to PA tomorrow, Trump to Nevada. And there's the mood music. The U.S. is facing all kinds of problems, from the economy to uncertainty abroad and wars raging. That's one reason that, remember, Biden and Harris have both faced headwinds. There are plenty of real reasons that have nothing to do with politicians, but actual real world and economic realities that have people concerned in America. But there's also some signs of a turning. Take a look at Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal today, which is both the most important financial publication in America and a leader of conservative thought. I'm going to show you today's front page, and it's blaring headlines that are rattling the Trump campaign. Inflation slowing to a 3-year low. Those are improving numbers. And then right next to it, boom, Trump's debate missteps have GOP fretting. This is what Wall Street and many leading conservatives are waking up to this morning. This is the music. Inside the paper, an op-ed from Republican Karl Rove hitting Trump's catastrophic debate performance. The Bush mastermind knows debates well, and he likens Trump's obviously poor performance, this is his comparison, to a pig, which cannot be prettied up. There's no putting lipstick on this pig, Rove writes. Trump was crushed by a woman he previously dismissed as, quote, dumb as a rock. Which raises the question, get ready for the burn in the Journal, what does that make him? Tough question from a Republican. Now, Karl Rove has clashed with Trump, so the former president could just dismiss this as more anti-Trump bias. But let's be clear. Remember what I mentioned earlier. The Harris campaign would love that if Trump continues to dismiss even Republicans trying to warn him that he's doing poorly. or his own supporters like RFK Jr. Ignoring facts and sound advice and traditional, solid debate prep is what helped Trump get into this mess this week. In fact, political reporter John Heilman was noting today on MSNBC that Trump's top two campaign officials could lose their jobs just for leveling with him over a poor debate. In fact, these two never made it into the spin room that Trump crashed right after the debate.
Is there anyone around him who, at this point, can say, hey, man, if the idea is to win a general election, what you did the other night is not helping?
There are two people around him who can say that, and I think who have said that, and they're both hanging by a thread with their jobs right now. Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles, Stephen Miller and Matt Gaetz, people who, and the great debate prepper of our time now, Tulsi Gabbard. The debate prep team of Gabbard and Gaetz, which was kind of taking shape, but who was not out there in the spin room, Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita.
Those top two officials were not out there. That was a big night. That was noticeable, and it speaks to the other reporting about whether Trump can face the facts. Now, Democrats have had their own issues facing the facts. I bet you remember them. But the Democrats' campaign assessed that it was doing so poorly this summer, they didn't just change the style or the message, they changed the nominee. Now, Donald Trump might change his campaign manager. Think about it. According to the report, it would be the opposite reason from Democrats, right? Democrats said, here's reality, we need to adjust. Trump would say, I don't like them telling me the reality, I'm going to fire the people saying it. That's what Heilman was referencing. Trump running away from honest feedback about a poor campaign, not towards reality in order to face reality. So, after the most eventful week of the whole Harris-Trump matchup, where does this all leave us? Again, some things matter more than others. The fact here in the data that most people think Harris won the debate is a big takeaway this week. Number two, top Republicans see that and are searching for ways to move Trump towards reality, to face that so he might improve his position, and he's resisting that. Trump does not want to hear he lost the debate any more than he could accept that he lost the election. He sent out Giuliani and others to lie about that, and ultimately others committed crimes over that lie. We know that story. Lying tactics that once hurt his opponents, though, or even confused his followers, seem to be losing their punch. And that's the third and important thing here. Trump is lying himself into sheer absurdity. Think about the pets. Our nation beholding this aging politician doubling down on his pet-eating delusions, which, and this matters in politics, are boomeranging on him. Amidst the denunciations of the race baiting that relates to that, the immigration thing, there's also laughter, bemusement, political pity, which Harris evinced for Americans in real time. It was like a reaction video of a very, very bad uncle that you don't want to hear from anymore. They say after the laughter comes the tears. Well, sometimes after the laughter, people just look away. Is that happening here? Still a tight race in the key states, but the debate clearly didn't help Trump. Most people think he lost and it hurt him. Republicans are warning him to face that fact, and for him, time could be running out. We are back with two experts to chop it up on this in just 90 seconds.